Hey everyone, Meryl here from Southern West Coast Realty. I am so excited to be able to introduce to you Chung from Dominion Lending. He comes with 20 years of experience in the financial industry, both working at Royal Bank for the first
10 years, long time.
Yeah, first 10 years and
independent and now, 10, so 20 total.
Yeah, so thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. So the first question I have for you, Chung, is what I'm hearing is that there are newer lenders that are willing to finance leaseholds, particularly privately owned leaseholds. Is that true?
Yes and no. I guess the important thing to understand is the difference in leases. So there are leases that are held by big entities like BC Hydro, SFU, UBC. Those are a little bit easier. Then some are held actually by native banks, so like native leaseholds. So it's a little bit harder. The tough ones are definitely those private entities. You could have a mom and pop that owns a building that is doing a leasehold as well, and those are definitely challenging.
Okay, and
but doable.
Why is it more challenging to get financing on a privately owned leasehold?
From a lender's point of view, they're really looking at who's holding that lease, so the leaser. If it's someone like BC Hydro, it's highly unlikely that things would change. The terms are quite finite. In a privately owned, private entity leasehold, it's a small individual, so a small entity, so it's a little bit tougher. So the trust part, I guess, would be there. So that's why it's easier to get financing on larger entity leaseholds than something that's private.
Okay. That kind of makes sense because, I have seen a lot of different types of head leases, and there's some where there's, in the case of a city leasehold, there's at least 165 pages.
Very detailed, yeah.
Literally spells out all the terms of the lease.
Yeah.
And then you've got some where the private leaseholds where they have no more than really 8 pages.
Yeah, which is really not much detail.
Yes, so I can see why that would be a concern for some lenders. My next question for you is, what do lenders look for when they're reviewing a mortgage application for a leasehold?
Well, there isn't really much difference than a regular mortgage. Regular mortgage, they look at income, credit, down payment, property. Is this in a leasehold? They just go into more detail. They would look at the person's income, and someone that had income that was just on the borderline might get a regular mortgage on a regular property, but with a leasehold, probably not. So I would say your clients would have to be more a AAA client, a AA client to get it. So this is more detailed for sure.
Okay, good to know. Last question. What would your recommendations be for somebody getting a mortgage on a leasehold?
Patience, I would say, is the biggest thing, because as you saw, everything just goes into more detail. It just takes a little bit longer. Okay. So the process of getting an approval does take longer than, say, a regular mortgage. And the second thing I would keep in mind as well, down payment. Some lenders on certain...
What are we looking at? Are we looking at 30%?
No, it depends. See, back to that first question that you had, it depends on the lease. I've seen as little as 10% down payment because the CMHC might insure a leasehold that's held by BC Hydro. Okay. But you have a private entity, that's doing a lease. You might be able to find someone to lend you, but it might be 50%. So it really does vary. And again, it's a very case-by-case situation. Okay. And I would say the last thing would be, because it is a case-by-case situation, a regular mortgage, for example, you might have 10 lenders banging down your door to lend to you. In a leasehold situation, maybe you only have 2 or 3, so you might not have as many options when it comes to lenders, terms, rates, that kind of stuff.
Good to know. There you have it. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and you'll be able to find our contact information below.
Yeah, happy to help.
Have a great day.